Welcome to the Got Any Cows podcast. If you want to learn all you can about the beef cattle industry, this is the podcast for you. My name is Seth Christensen. My company has sent beef cattle genetics to 45 of the 50 states and 12 countries around the world. I've had the chance to learn from some of the best and brightest in the beef cattle industry, and I invite you to join me for those conversations here on the Got Any Cows podcast. Well, hey, appreciate you guys joining me here again on the Got Any Cows podcast, riding shotgun with me. Appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. This has been a really fun thing to be able to show everybody the cattle right here just outside the pickup and take you through some of the animals live and in person and unfiltered. Was just on the phone just within the last hour or so with Phil Morrison out of South Carolina. Phil, appreciate you calling. Phil was just talking to me about looking at cattle for the first time, and it's been a neat and fun thing to be able to say, hey, we've got this podcast as a way to kind of educate yourself and familiarize yourself with cattle and with a range of topics in all of our guest episodes, but then to be able to show you as well live and in person. These are the cows. Like, these are the animals themselves that are available, whether it's, the animal itself or the steers or the bulls or the females or the aspirations, the embryos, the semen, all the different things that we sell related to them, but why you'd want to purchase each of those things. And it's neat to be able to share that with you here and in this format and in this setting, to hopefully be able to provide just as much value as we can. There's never any cost for being able to watch these podcasts or learn from the topics we share or the guests, those guest interviews, and or being able to see the cattle. And then at any point that you do decide you want to engage and purchase some of them through one of our monthly auctions, the nationwide delivery is included in the bid price on these live cattle. And we've been shipping cattle all over everywhere. Shout out to my buddy David Tanner for all the trucking he's been doing. Just sent out another load with him within the last couple of days. He just got back from deliveries in northern Idaho and Oregon. We sent him out today. There were cattle on that trailer going to Georgia, going to Virginia, going to Illinois, going to South Dakota. I'm probably missing a couple of destinations. Luckily, David keeps track of all that better than I do. But sure appreciate him and the miles he drives and the professional job he does getting those cattle delivered. Appreciate Aaron and Billy being here. They have been working hard at work here at the ranch recently, weaning, getting all of the weaning done for the spring of all these fall-born calves, and then getting turnout done. So it has been a busy time for them as they've worked to get cattle turned out and off of hay and onto pasture, and getting calves sorted off of cows and all of the processing that involves, getting carcass ultrasound done as well, and all the work that involves, and pregnancy ultrasound and working with Dr. Bulls there. So there's been plenty to do, in addition to just the day-to-day of taking care of kids and cows and getting ready for another baby to join the clan here this summer. My wife's due for August 2nd, and that pregnancy has hit her kind of hard, and so I get to play Mr. Mom a little, and I'm not necessarily great at it, but the kids are alive and the cows are alive, and that's a win, and we're able to be here tonight recording. Appreciate Jacob and Corey are here in the pickup with me, working on keeping all of the cameras pointed where they need to go to be able to see these cattle and be able to hear me walk through what's available here, and it's a neat format to be able to say, hey, rather than get maybe a print catalog that would have a picture and just some written footnotes, in this setting, we're able to say, hey, you can see the cattle live and unfiltered, unadulterated in person. I can walk you through them just as if you had flown out here, to look at the cattle in person, which you're always welcome to do. We're just 2 hours north of the Salt Lake City airport. So anyone that wants to fly in and come sit where this camera sits today, sit shotgun and look at the cattle in person, love to have you. We'll feed you a quality Akaushi steak and talk some cattle, and happy to share with anyone that has the can schedule the time to get out here in person. We'd love to have you. But for anyone that's not able to be here in person, we want to get you just as close as possible. And that's kind of the neat thing of this podcast setup is say, hey, we can see the cattle, we can talk the cattle, and then you have the option to bid on the cattle. So we release one of these podcasts every other week. Every other Thursday, a podcast comes out. There'll be one with a guest on it with an educational subject, and then one with the cattle on it, hopefully being educational there as well. And then once a month following that cattle podcast, there is an auction the last Wednesday of each month, and an opportunity to purchase the cattle we're looking at here, either purchase the animals themselves or embryos, semen, aspirations, things like that from the animals. So if you haven't already, go to gotanycows.com and subscribe. On that Got Any Cows website, that's going to take you to the Christensen Genetics homepage. There's an option to subscribe at the bottom of that webpage. If you do that, you'll get an email every time one of these podcast is released. Every time an auction catalog is released, you'll get an email about that. You'll get to see the podcast right away, see the auction catalogs right away. And that gives you, I guess, first access to all of those things. This is a full video podcast, so if you've always just listened to this podcast, I would invite you to go to gotanycows.com, go to that podcast tab. We've got 40 some odd podcast episodes on there, so you can go back through all of those and a lot of valuable content there. And then you can see the cattle that we're going to talk about today. So we've got, again, another set of pens with live cattle here with me. I'm going to walk you through what they are and why you might be interested in some of them. And my hope is that can be educational and valuable to you, whether you're purchasing cattle in this auction or whether you're just looking to further educate yourself or just see what it is we have available, looking to give you as realistic a view of what these animals are as we can and help you understand why they might be of value to you. If you haven't already, go ahead and update your iPhone to the latest update. If you do on Apple Podcasts, and if you listen to the Got Any Cows podcast on Apple Podcasts, you'll now be able to see video on Apple Podcasts. So you'll have a chance to see the cattle on today's episode. That video is also going to be available on YouTube, and that video is also available on the gotanycows.com website. But yeah, check out video on Apple Podcasts starting on this episode and going forward. Update your phone and take a look at us there. And without further ado, we're going to jump into what some of these cattle behind me are. So if you look behind me in the group right there are 3 animals in this first pen. So we're going to look at 3 cows. On the far left there is the 3413 female. In the middle of those 3 cows is the D40 female. And on the far right of those 3 cows is the 261F female. So all 3 of those are going to be full-blood AWA registered Akaushi cows. So full blood, meaning 100% Japanese origin. There's no outside genetics present. It all comes directly from Japan. And then AWA being American Wagyu Association registered. So any of these animals where they're registered with the American Wagyu Association, they can also be dual registered with the American Akaushi Association and or triple registered with the Australian Wagyu Association. So that gives you a feel for what they are. But lot 1 in this auction is going to be the female on the far right. So of those 3 cows, the female on the far right of the frame there, that's going to be the 261F cow. And that cow is going to sell in her entirety as lot 1 in this auction. This auction is going to close May 27th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So mark a quick note on your calendar. That's the last Wednesday of this month, May 27 at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, or 5 p.m. Pacific. But on that female, so she's now in the background a little bit. She'd be on the far right of these individuals, 261F. That cow came into our program as one of my top picks from Colby Carpenter up at 22 Wagyu when he decided to focus specifically on the black Wagyu side of his program and disperse his red Wagyu or Akaushi genetics. And red Wagyu and Akaushi are interchangeable terms. Both would reference the separate and distinct breed of Akaushi, which comes from Japan. So red Wagyu is accurate in the sense they are red, and they are Wagyu, meaning Japanese cow coming from Japan, and they are Akaushi, so they are a separate and distinct breed from the black Wagyu cattle that people are used to. And what's brought me into Akaushi is that you get that Wagyu quality beef, so you get the excellent quality eating experience, but you have really high quality cattle to go with it. So they're going to be thicker, heavier muscled, faster gaining, more like under traditional cattle from a production standpoint. But then you're still going to get that high-end carcass and that high-end beef eating experience from the finished product. They're an excellent steak as a finished product. So 261F on the far right there of those three females. That cow is going to be one of my favorite two that I got from Colby Carpenter there. So this female was bred and calved in the Idaho Wagyu Genetics program. So Garth Monroe there out of Soda Springs, Idaho, and then sold as a group up there to Colby Carpenter. And this was one of my favorite two. When I went in there, what I wanted to do was go in and say, hey, which of these cows have gotten it done year in, year out and not caused a problem? Because that's kind of the opposite side of the equation from just the beef. Now, we want the fantastic quality beef, right? But we don't want a nightmarish experience dealing with the cattle just to get it, right? We don't want cattle that are super slow gaining. We don't want cattle that are super hard to breed or super hard to calve or that cause issues with their disposition or things like that. We don't want to have problems with the cow just to get a quality steak on the plate. So that's a real focus for me in our program at large, is making sure we have excellent cattle in addition to the excellent steaks. And this cow embodies that. Again, on the far right of the three, that 261F was a cow that bred first service every year, calved on time every year, looks fantastic. This is a strong topped female, tight uddered female, excellent footed female. So the cow looks right. The cow produces right. The cow's pedigree is right. So this is going to be a direct red emperor daughter. And then the cow behind her is going to be a big owl over Shigemaru over Dai 8 Marunami. And so you're looking at a straight foundation pedigree, right? So all of those individuals in that pedigree either came directly from Japan or are heavily influenced by animals directly from Japan. So you're not a long ways removed from those original imports. So you're going to have a little bit of additional breadth of pedigree in that sense. And then she is currently exposed and has been with the Maestro bull. So Maestro is going to be a master chef over Kaedemaru bull. So that's going to be one of the real benefits to looking at this 261F female. So if you were coming into Akaushi and you're saying, hey, which animal should I buy and why? Looking at lot one, the cow herself is productive. So she checks that box. Excellent mannered cow, easy mannered cow, easy to be around. Cat breeds easy, calves easy, does a good job with her calves. This cow herself, you can see right now, you can kind of see some marks like from a set of clippers kind of in the middle of this cow. You can see where she's been shaved. She's been shaved there for us to be able to do actual carcass ultrasound. So what actual carcass ultrasound is, that lets us look under the hide. So you're basically looking at the steak on the plate without putting the cow on the plate, right? So we want to know this animal as a breeding animal, the long-term end for all cattle, right, including the genetics that this cow produces, her calves, and she herself someday are all going to end up on the plate. And so what we want to know is, okay, how good are these genetics while they're still alive? Because once we put it on the plate, there's no going back and breeding, right? So for this cow, when we scan and we look at that carcass ultrasound, so it's the same technology as what you'd use to be able to do pregnancy ultrasound or things like that, but we're looking specifically at the beef and at beef quality. And what we're looking for is marbling, so that intramuscular fat that goes throughout the beef, and which is what gives beef its flavor. This is what makes beef distinct as a protein source. I mean, pork and chicken, I eat plenty of pork and chicken too, but you put a sauce on them. You cover them with sauce, plain and simple. Like pork and chicken are great so long as they're seasoned, right? You don't eat pork without seasoning. You don't eat chicken without seasoning. But you can eat beef without seasoning because of that intramuscular fat. Or that marbling that's present. It's what gives beef its flavor. So added marbling or added intramuscular fat is a positive thing. And that's what we're looking for when we go and do actual carcass ultrasound on a cow like 261F there. And that cow scans well beyond Prime Plus on actual carcass ultrasound. So Prime would be your highest of all of the USDA grading qualifications or specifications. So the USDA, or United States Department of Agriculture, will assign any beef produced in the United States one of three quality grades. They'll call it select, which means there's basically no marbling whatsoever, so there's not really going to be any flavor in that sense, right? And if you bought select beef, you'd see it's almost all red. There's none of those little white flecks in it. Choice, which would be, that's what's most common or most prevalent in the United States, would be choice quality beef. There's going to be a little bit of kind of those white flecks, a little bit of that marbling or intramuscular fat, and some flavor, like a choice steak's a good steak, and that's probably your most common in the U.S. A prime steak is where the USDA quality grade ends. That's as high as it goes. So at prime steak, you've got more of that marbling, you've got more of that intramuscular fat. It's gonna equate with a better eating experience if USDA calls it prime. And when I say this cow is prime plus, that means this cow, when we take that ultrasound and look under the hide, this cow is higher than where that USDA scale ends for maximum carcass quality, right? So the Australian scale and or the Japanese scale continue into higher degrees of marbling, but the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, ends at prime. This cow is above and beyond that. So if you were looking for a cow that you know is going to put an excellent quality steak on the plate, in addition to being an easy cow to work with, this is an excellent option. Like I mentioned, she's exposed to Maestro. And so if you look at the Maestro bull, what makes that individual unique, number one, there's no semen available on the open market. So you can get those genetics here or here. That's it. There's not anywhere else that Maestro genetics are available. You can't get them from any other program in the country, any other program in the world. Maestro exists only here at Christensen Genetics. So if you want to be one of the very first to have Maestro in your program, take a look at something like this Lot 1 female who'd currently be sitting middle of the three. She's in the far back corner there if you're looking at all three of those cows. That 261F female is exposed to the Maestro bull. So Maestro is going to be a master chef's son, and then his mother is the Kaedemaru clone. So the reasons those would matter at all. Master Chef, starting with him, thousands of dollars a straw to buy, so very expensive. So you're getting access to some expensive genetics as part of the deal with a cow like this. Master Chef is an Australian import bull. There's very limited semen left here in the United States. It's expensive to get. It's hard to find. He also brings the original import cow, Ume, right to the front of the pedigree. The Ume cow is well known for producing high marbling offspring. She's going to be the cow at the bottom of the maternal line of our 919 donor that has done so well for us. So you're able to bring a little bit of an outcross there. Master Chef cattle are also going to be that they're larger outline, larger framed, faster growing type cattle. So if you were looking to basically produce more beef faster, Master Chef is going to do that for you. You're going to hang a nice large carcass, right? So you're going to get plenty of total pay weight, right? Plenty of total beef to eat from those Master Chef genetics. You're going to get some additional gainability, right? Have that carcass ready to harvest sooner because of the rate of gain of those Master Chef genetics. And you're going to have some pedigree breadth and proven marbling with that Ume component that Master Chef brings to the front of the pedigree. So that's kind of what you see in the sire of Maestro. That's why there'd be value in Maestro being the service sire, or the bull that 261F Lot 1 is currently exposed to. Now, even more valuable is going to be the bottom side of the pedigree. So Maestro is a direct son of the Kaedemaru 001D female. So Kaedemaru 001D is a clone of the original Kaedemaru. So the original Kaedemaru came out of Japan in the 90s in utero, born in Canada, cloned in Texas. This female, the clone of the original Kaedemaru, was born in Texas. She'd be 9 years old now, and then came to our program in 2023. And just such an incredibly unique female in all of the ways. So number one, looking at Kaedemaru, docility wise. So when I say docility, I mean as far as cattle being safe to be around, cattle being mellow, not being aggressive, not being flighty, not being nervous, right? Animals that are safe to handle. Like, it is priority one for me that I don't get hurt by my cows. The people that work with me don't get hurt by my cows. My wife and kids don't get hurt by my cows. It's priority one. And in Akaushi as a breed, if you just went and bought the average Akaushi cow from wherever you happen to look, in Akaushi as a breed, disposition is a problem. You know, I'm not going to tell you that it's not. There is an issue within the breed of some of these cattle being flighty or nervous or aggressive. And so it's priority one for us that we improve that, right? That we make these cattle mellower. And Kaedemaru is the epitome of docility in Akaushi cattle. I would say Kaedemaru is the mellowest cow in the breed that I have ever seen, that I've ever been around. So if you were looking to mellow out these cattle, say, hey, I want all the good of Akaushi, I want that great steak, and I want the great cow to produce it, but I don't want to deal with anything crazy, you want Kaedemaru genetics. So Kaedemaru is so mellow, so easy to handle. You can walk right up to the cow. You can see all over our Facebook page, we've had plenty of visitors to the ranch. Visitors to the ranch can literally pet this cow in the pen. I mean, just absolutely mellow, calm, easy to be around. In addition to just being super mellow, very fertile donor. She's produced plenty of embryos for our embryo transfer program. And after so doing, has bred up first service AI, has raised a couple of calves for us here, done a wonderful job for us that way. So very fertile female, great mother, easy calving, has always calved unassisted, so you don't have to worry about having problems at calving time. Raised as a really nice calf, so you don't run into a situation of saying, well, you know, the carcass is going to be great, or the cow was great to be around, but this calf didn't gain at all, right? So now you're going to take all this time to try to produce finished product if the animal won't gain. Kaedemaru cattle, they gain well. Kaedemaru is our #1 all-time Akaushi female on actual carcass ultrasound for the amount of marbling that's present. So like we mentioned, that the marbling is what gives the beef its flavor. Intramuscular fat and marbling, same. And the highest cow for actual carcass ultrasound we have ever recorded in the Akaushi breed is the Kaedemaru clone, which would be the mother of Maestro. So when you take a look at lot 1 and you're deciding, hey, what can I afford to bid for a cow like this? Look at it as not only is this a cow that the cow herself has proven herself, the cow herself has the carcass quality we're after on actual carcass ultrasound, but then the bull she's exposed to brings those rare and valuable Master Chef genetics, those rare and valuable Kaedemaru genetics, and then the bull himself hasn't been released anywhere else. There's not semen available. You can get a live cover cow like this, and here she is kind of showing off right in the middle of the frame, so she'd be the middle of the cows right now, or the cow nearest the cameras. The other two are behind us, is the 261F, so she's on the far right, just kind of coming around the back now. But that's the lot 1 cow, and if you were to buy her, you get that cow delivered to your ranch, already exposed to the Maestro bull, and so hopefully going to be carrying a spring Maestro calf there, and that's what you're going to get if you bid on lot 1. Now I will tell you, on the lot 1 female, look at this cow as a cow to be a strong producing natural service kind of a cow within your program. I would hesitate to say go ahead and use this cow as a donor, not because she lacks genetic quality. We have used this cow as an embryo donor to produce embryos for transfer within our program. She has the genetic quality to do that. But this cow on ultrasound is going to show some adhesions on the right ovary. And I mention that to say I want anyone that purchases lot 1 to know you're getting a wonderful cow, you're getting a cow exposed to Maestro, and she does a wonderful job. I mean, she bred up first service, natural service for her last calf. Hoping she's done the same with this Maestro exposure. But with those adhesions on that ovary, I would not recommend trying to produce embryos from this cow. So I would say look at this cow, and as you're setting your budget or you're deciding, hey, what do I want to bid for that lot 1? Look at this cow as a pillar, a mainstay of just your natural service program. Do not plan on buying this cow to make a pile of embryos for your program. If you're looking for an embryo donor, we got 2 other options that'll make great options in this pen, but look at lot 1 as just a cow to raise calves rather than a cow to make embryos for you. So that's going to be the lot 1 cow, the 261F female. Lot 2 in this auction is on the far left of these 3 cows. So the 3413 female, far left in the pen right now. Beautiful young cow, just weaned off her first calf. Really pretty cow, always has been. Appreciate this cow and how she looks in the flesh. Strong top female, good hip to the female, good uddered. I mean, just a pretty cow to look at in the pen. This is going to be a Kunisakae daughter. So Kunisakae brings some unique things to the pedigree on the top side. He's an Umamaru over Judo over Kunisakae. So this is about as close as you can get to that original import cow Kunisakae on the top side of this deal through the Kunisakae bull. And then the cow herself is backed by a pretty cow. On the bottom side of the deal, the D4 cow is a pretty cow, a nice cow. So you're getting, again, a female that gives you all the looks, but then you're getting that carcass quality, that pedigree diversity. One of the benefits of this 3413 female, again, far left female in the pen as you're looking at her and as you're evaluating that cow as an option, lot 2 in this auction. She is confirmed pregnant to heifer sexed semen from the Shoshone bull. So Shoshone is going to be our all-time high seller as far as semen value. Brought $3,200 for a single straw. So if you're to take a look at, I mean, getting a feel for what it costs. So for a straw of semen, period. If you're going to buy semen to in a usual normal commercial type setting, $5 to $20 a straw, very, very normal price point. Even high quality bulls, quite often you're looking at, maybe $50, $100, $200 a straw. Shoshone brought $3,200 for his first straw of semen. And better yet, the semen that this cow is pregnant to is heifer sexed. So you've got 90% odds of getting a heifer calf. So if you're looking to build a program, you're looking to get as much bang for your buck as you can, looking to add as many females for the dollar as you can. A female like 3413, again, on the far left of these three, you can basically look at that cow as two females in one, because you're going to get the cow herself, but then you're also going to get a very valuable heifer calf that is in her belly that's due for December 28th. And so look at that female again as you're kind of trying to establish, what can I bid on a cow like that? You're getting the cow, you're getting heifer calf in the belly, you're getting delivery to your ranch, all included to the bid price. And this is a female that if you so chose, you could make embryos from. So you could also look at this female as a potential embryo donor. Another thing, I guess, to look at is as far as that heifer calf being out of Shoshone. So Shoshone was a high gaining bull, really, really attractive bull. Take a look at the picture of the bull on the auction platform here. He's a D18 son. The D18 cow sold for $104,000. High value kind of a female. She in turn is sired by the J.C. Rushaw 75 bull, $500,000 bull. So looking at a ton of value in the pedigree on Shoshone. Shoshone himself sold semen at $3,200. So again, coming around to that D18 cow, really unique and valuable breeding piece there. You're going to get a granddaughter in this heifer pregnancy. So if you go ahead and purchase lot 2, you get a pretty cow. You get a D18 granddaughter in the belly, very, very valuable pregnancy in the belly, 90% chance of being heifer calf, and you're getting delivery to your ranch included in the bid price on lot 2. You could absolutely use that female as a donor and not be wrong doing it. You can see her on the far left in the frame right now. So jump into the third female that's in this pen, and this is going to be lot 8. Lot 8 in the auction that closes May 27th, last Wednesday of this month, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Again, be sure to subscribe at gotanycows.com so that you get that email when this auction catalog is released and when future podcast episodes are released. But lot 8 is going to be an IVF aspiration on this D40 cow. So D40 is on the far right of these 3 individuals in the pen right now. So D40, I guess first we'll walk through what an IVF aspiration is and why you'd want it. And then we'll walk through what D40 is. Take a look at her as I talk here. Far right female in the frame. I'm looking at that cow on the right. D40 lot 8 is going to be an IVF aspiration on her. So an IVF aspiration is going to be when we remove unfertilized oocytes or unfertilized egg cells from the cow's ovaries. You're going to be able to take and fertilize those in a lab setting to the sire of your choice. They'll grow for 7 days, and then they'll be frozen at 7 days post-conception. And you can take those embryos, implant them into a cow that is 7 days after her estrus cycle, and those embryos will take off and grow the same as if they were in their mother, right? So you're able to take a cow like this and multiply her to the sire of your choice, and multiply those valuable genetics and introduce them into your herd. It's a very, very cost-effective way to get into beef cattle genetics. For example, my 919 donor that has generated over $300,000 in direct progeny sales for our ranch. North of $300,000 in cash deposits in my account came from an embryo. And I was able to purchase that embryo very, very cost effectively. So look at this. If you're looking for an option as far as a very, very cost effective way to get into very, very elite genetics, take a look at this IVF aspiration, and you can choose the sire to use over the oocytes from this cow or the egg cells from this cow, and then those embryos will be frozen and shipped to you to implant in other females. So looking at the IVF aspiration on this cow in particular, D40 is going to be a big owl over Hikari, over Kunisakae cow. So a lot of what makes this cow so unique is how close she is to those original imports out of Japan. And I'll tell you why that matters. So when you look at the cows that left Japan, the only females that ever left Japan left in the mid-1990s, so 30 years ago. Actually a little over 30 years ago, 32 years ago, 94 would be when the bulk of those cows left Japan. There was only a really, really finite period of time when there was a loophole in the U.S.-Japan trade agreement to be able to bring those cattle over. Thereafter, Japan declared Akaushi or red Wagyu or Wagyu genetics period a national treasure. So you'd have better luck caging and shipping bald eagles at this point than getting fresh genetics out of Japan, fresh Wagyu genetics out of Japan. So they're very, very limited in availability. There were only 13 cows that ever left Japan in the red Wagyu or Akaushi breed. So you've got this really, really finite gene pool, this really, really finite maternal gene base that the whole breed is built off of. So when you look at a cow like D40, the thing that makes her so unique is we're saying, hey, you know, the semen on some of those original bulls that came over, that can be stored technically indefinitely. But those cows, they're dead and gone. The vast majority of any embryos that ever came out of them, they're all used or gone. For the most part, the cows are gone, their daughters are gone, their granddaughters are gone. The only way, you know, to try to access those original import cows up front on the bottom side of, so the maternal side of a pedigree, is through cows like D40. And this D40 cow, like I mentioned, Big Al over Hikari over Kunisakae. So if we're trying to take that Kunisakae cow that left Japan 30 years ago, that we can't get anything fresh from there, and we're trying to bring that cow right to the front of a pedigree, in a maternal side, right on the bottom side of the pedigree, because mitochondrial DNA are only inherited from the cow or from the mother. So if you're looking to get the mitochondrial DNA that came from a cow like Kunisakae, the very closest you can ever get to getting one of those cows out of Japan is to get a cow like D40, who is going to be tracing her direct maternal line to that Kunisakae cow that left Japan. So Big Al, Hikari, and Kunisakae, all three of those animals that are right at the front of this pedigree are all going to be Daiten Mitsumaru offspring. So Daiten Mitsumaru, be a Japanese super sire. It was right at the front of the Japanese breed evaluation in Japan in the 90s. At the time these cattle left Japan, the bull never left Japan. His semen never left Japan. The only way you can ever access Daiten Mitsumaru is through things like Big Al, Hikari, or Kunisakae. Now, this female has 3 shots of Daiten Mitsumaru right at the front of the pedigree. So that makes this cow a total outcross to Rusha, a total outcross to Judo, a total outcross to Tamamaru, and a total outcross to Shigemaru. So this female is line bred herself, so you're going to have very, very, very consistent results, line bred to a very, very, very elite bull that never left Japan, and then you have all the options in front of you. Instead of saying, hey, the cow herself has a really low coefficient of inbreeding, you're saying, hey, all of the animals she produces, regardless of what Rusha, Judo, Shigemaru, or Tamamaru influence you decide to use, or those bulls themselves, this cow is going to have a really, really low coefficient of inbreeding when bred to those bulls. So look at D40 if you're looking for a really cost-effective way to get into some really unique and rare and valuable outcross genetics that are line bred to that Daiten Mitsumaru. Take a look at Lot 8, the IVF aspiration on D40, who is the cow on the far right of these 3 we're looking at right now. We will guarantee that you get at least 3 embryos if you use female sexed semen, or at least 5 embryos if you use conventional semen, with the goal in either scenario being that you're going to get at least 1 heifer calf from this aspiration. So when you take a look at bidding on this aspiration, look at it like, hey, I'm planning on getting at least 1 heifer calf from what I spend on this bid. And now I should mention your embryo production costs of about $200 an embryo, and then whatever semen you decide to purchase are billed separately. But look at those costs together as saying, this is going to get me a heifer calf. This is going to get me a really elite heifer calf, a very, very uniquely pedigreed heifer calf, a very rare and valuable heifer calf, for the bid price on Lot 8 for that IVF aspiration. So without further ado, we're going to jump up to the next pen and take a look at the weanling bulls and weanling steers. All right, so jumping into this pen here, we're going to be taking a look at lots 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So there's 5 individuals in this pen. All of these calves were just weaned, so we've got both bulls and steers in this pen. Thank you, Aaron and Billy, again for all of your work to get all this weaning done. It's a big job. Get them all vaccinated, get them all weaned, get them all sorted, get them all moved around. And anyway, it takes some doing, so really appreciate them and all of their hard work to stack and stage these cattle. This bull that's coming up right up to the fence, that's coming right up to us, I mean, king of the pen right here, 5523. This is Lot 3, the animal nearest to the truck right now. So as you're looking at all of those animals there, the one with his head pointed to us, that's right up next to the truck, 5523, second from the right there. big, thick, stout kind of a bull. This is going to be a polled purebred Akaushi bull. So he's coming around to the left there, going to kind of cut off into the corner. 55-23. Going to be a really, really unique polled purebred Akaushi bull. So polled, to define that quick for anybody that's maybe not familiar with it, polled means naturally hornless. So if you don't want to have to physically remove the horns from cattle, or I guess I'll even back up prior to that. The Akaushi breed, as a breed, the full-blood cattle, the ones that left Japan, are all naturally horned. Now, if you leave the horns on any given animal, you're going to run into a series of issues. They're going to beat the crap out of any other animals that are next to them in a feed bunk. They can tear each other up. You can see scenarios where, you know, they'll gash another animal's side. They can be aggressive with people. You don't want to get hit by the horns on a cow yourself. They can get stuck places. They can get stuck in the fence. They can get stuck in the feeder. So horns are a problem. Anyways, like, they cause a problem in the chute. They cause a problem in the feeder. They cause a problem in the pen. They cause a problem in the trailer. Horns are a problem, right? You do not want to leave horns on cattle. Like, if you see horns left on, like big mature horns left on an animal, it's a sign of mismanagement, frankly. It means that they've not been removed because they should be removed. Like, short of roping cattle, there's really not a whole lot of any reason, like for rodeo stock, there's really not a whole lot of any reason to leave horns on cattle. So given that the cattle that left Japan are naturally horned, horns are a problem, you have two options to get rid of them. You can either so like on the full-blood cattle that are born naturally horned, you get to physically remove those horns, which means you get to cut them off or burn them off. It's not a pleasant thing. It's not pleasant for us. It's not pleasant for the animals. It's a necessary thing. It's a lot less unpleasant than leaving the horns on. But it's going to take time. It's going to take labor. It's going to take facilities. It's not fun to do. The cattle aren't in love with the fact you did it. It's going to open up the opportunity for things like infection. It's going to set those cattle back. They're not going to gain as good. They're more likely to get sick from that stress and things like that. So it's a necessary, but not generally positive experience to dehorn. Now, way more fun than manually or physically dehorning cattle is to genetically dehorn cattle. So polled cattle means they are naturally hornless, and as luck would have it, the polled gene is dominant. So if you use a polled bull on a horned cow, if it's a homozygous polled bull, you will get, meaning there's two copies of the polled gene, you will get polled calves or naturally hornless calves 100% of the time. So the polled purebred bull that we're seeing in this pen, which is going to be, again, that largest calf, that big slick individual, he's right in the middle of the five, so naturally kind of on the back there, just clearing up now. So second from the left, he's going to be a heterozygous polled bull. So he's got one copy of the polled gene and one copy of the horn gene. So if he's bred to a homozygous polled cow, you are going to see a polled calf 100% of the time. So she's got two copies of the polled gene. If he's bred to a heterozygous polled individual, you are going to see a homozygous polled calf 25% of the time, a heterozygous polled calf 50% of the time, and a horned calf 25% of the time. Or if you breed this bull to horned cows, so say the average Akaushi cow, full-blood Akaushi cow, 100% Japanese origin, they're all horned, right? Or they're all genetically horned. They may have been dehorned, but they're all genetically horned. You are going to get a polled calf 50% of the time with a heterozygous polled bull. So dehorning genetically, I mean, without question, is the way to go. It's my preferred way to do it. Ask Aaron and Billy. It's for sure their preferred way that we do it. Ask any of the cows. If they could talk, they'd tell you they'd rather be dehorned genetically than physically or manually. It's definitively the better approach. And not to mention, not only is that bull going to remove horns, it's not a case of like, well, we gave up everything else to be able to get those horns off genetically. If you look at those 4 red animals within that pen, that's easily the best polled bull, or easily the best calf, period. The best bull or steer calf of those reds is that polled purebred. So it's not a case of like, well, we got rid of the horns, but he's a junk animal otherwise. It's a case of, no, that is a big, stout, growthy, thick, impressive, top-performing individual who also removes horns. And I love the way that pedigree comes together. So that calf weaned at 724 pounds, so exceptional performance. And I mean, to give you an idea benchmark-wise, as far as what's normal for a weaning weight, so a weaning weight would be when animals are removed from their mother. Normally going to be around 7 months of age when an animal is weaned or removed from its mother. That'd be about where he got pulled off of his mother. The average calf at large, or the average commercial calf out and around us. Now, again, these weights will vary wildly depending on what part of the country you're in, or what the animals are being fed, or when they're born. I mean, there's a series of things that impact them. But the average commercial calf on the average year here in Idaho going to be about 550 pounds coming off the cow. Is very normal. Now, there's higher performing individuals, there's lower performing individuals. The average Akaushi calf nationwide, I mean, sadly, there are going to be some that are 3-weight weaning weights. There's plenty that are 4-weight. 4-weight meaning 400 pound, 400 something pound weaning weights. Good ones are 500. Really good ones are 600 pounds plus at weaning. Really, truly exceptional individuals that there's not that many of in the breed are going to be 700 plus pounds at weaning, which is what this bull calf was. This bull calf weighed 724 pounds at weaning. So honestly, this calf is as heavy as a 7-month-old calf as what a lot of Akaushi might be as a year-old calf. So you're getting a lot of extra gain. You're that much closer to that calf's harvest date. You've got that many more pounds to sell. If you do go ahead and sell calves sired by this bull, you're getting additional pounds to sell. You're getting an animal finished and beef ready to sell at an earlier date. Added growth curve. Again, all these things come with trade-offs. There's always pros and cons to any given trait. But when we're looking at growth, more growth is a positive thing. And as you look at all those calves, look at how much bigger he is. He's sitting against the back fence right now. So he's the big slit calf against the far back fence there. The 5523 calf, the polled purebred Akaushi, 724 pound weaning weight. And I love the breeding on this bull. So if you look at the way his pedigree sits, you're basically stacking together 3 of our all-time best cows. So this bull's sire is a bull called Sanshi, and Sanshi is a full brother in blood to our 19273 donor. So if you go back a few episodes, you can see our 19273 donor. Super thick, super stout, super impressive female. She has our highest scanning cow on actual carcass ultrasound. So again, more marbling, or looking at a prime plus carcass, something beyond where the US scale ends for quality, for beef quality. The 19273 cow scans there. Beautiful cow, big, thick, stout cow. This bull calf that we're looking at, so lot 3, the 5523 calf, that big slick calf on the back fence there, that bull calf is going to add all that weaning weight in addition to his sire is a full brother in blood to 19273. His mother is a Davy Crockett daughter, and so she's going to be a 919 grandson. Or granddaughter. I mentioned that 919 female, $300,000 all-time top income producing female, straight original import pedigree, big Al over Hikari over Shigemura over Ume, #1 red Wagyu cow in the U.S. in the Australian database for BFI, or Breeder Feeder Index. And just a beautiful cow in person, great mannered, again, a huge marbling cow. And then behind that on this pedigree, looking at the 5523 bull, is the 577 donor, who's done 100,000 indirect progeny sales, again scans beyond prime plus, again super mellow. So I mean, you're stacking together. If a guy decides, hey, I need a bull, okay, so this is the guy that's looking at lot 3, I need a bull, you're better off to have a polled bull than not a polled bull. He checks that box. You're better to have more growth than less growth. He checks that box. You're better to have more marbling rather than less marbling. He's stacked generations deep in that. You're better off to have more docility than less docility. He's stacked generations deep in that. You're better to have more marketability, or the ability to generate more dollars per individual that you purchase. He's stacked generations deep in that. So if you're looking for a herd bull and the opportunity to get a buy on a herd bull, I mean, I'll tell you what, there has been a screaming deal to be had on bulls in the Akaushi marketplace right now. And a quick comment on that at large. I mean, when you look at the commercial cattle marketplace, or the commercial cattle landscape, or cattle as a commodity in the United States today, beef cattle in the United States today are selling for more money than they ever have before, period. Like, we are setting records all over the place, all the time. Commercial cattle have never been worth more at any point in history than they are right now. They are worth an obscene amount of money on a per head basis, or on a per pound basis. There are records being set all over the place in the commercial cattle world right now, or for cattle as a commodity. Now, as it relates to that impact on the Akaushi breed, or specifically on Akaushi bulls and on their place in the marketplace, when the market is this high, Frankly, there's lots of people that'll just buy a more traditional breed, buy things like an Angus bull or whatever else. And that's totally fine because it's easy. And right now it doesn't matter too much what you do. They're all worth a grundle at all-time market highs. Now, the brilliance in buying an Akaushi bull today is because not everyone is chasing a premium option. The market's already fantastic, right? Why would you chase a premium option? And there's not going to be a ton of a premium for an Akaushi cross calf at all-time highs. Where there is going to be a premium available for an Akaushi calf is when this market cycles back the other direction. And we got 100 years of data that says it'll fall apart again in 5 years. Every time it gets to a new high, everybody says, oh, it's a new normal, or, it'll never go down again, or, oh, it's super high. I got 100 years of data that says you're wrong, right? We got 100 years of data that says as a general trend, now, there's blippets up and there's blippets down, and there's short-term technical movements. But if you look at 100 years of cattle data, the cattle market, what calves are going to sell for, that value climbs for 5 years, and then it falls for 5 years. And then it climbs for 5 years, and then it falls for 5 years. So you're 10 years from peak to peak, you're roughly 10 years from trough to trough. And the reason that matters is cattle, if we're trying to adjust supplies, based on market conditions, right? So things are at an all-time high, so there's an incentive to increase supply. We cannot increase supply quickly when it comes to beef cattle, right? It is a slow, long-term play. With pigs or chickens, you can make more of them really, really quickly, right? But with cattle, just due to the generation interval, it is years. It takes 9 months to gestate the thing, and then it takes another year to get them to sexual maturity, and then it takes them another year for them to reproduce themselves. It's years down the road before we can shift the available supply of cattle based on the fact that, hey, today, yeah, they're worth a ton in the commercial cattle market, so let's make more of them. It takes years to introduce that added supply, and that's why it takes years to see that market go all the way back down to all-time lows. And now all of a sudden, 5 years in the future, so we're in 2026 right now. Let's go out 4 or 5 years. Let's say it's 2030, 2031. Now things are really low or really cheap in the commodity landscape. Then people sell down, supply shrinks. It's basic supply-demand economics, right? It is not rocket science. And we got 100 years of data that says it climbs for 5 years, falls for 5 years. So I'm bringing all this around to the fact that we're sitting here looking at these Akaushi bulls here. Today, commodity cattle are worth all-time highs. When they're at all-time highs, not everyone is chasing a premium because there's not much of a premium to be had, even for premium cross calves. Where that premium reappears is when the market falls apart in 5 years, right? So if the market falls apart in 5 years, now what everyone wants is a premium option like an F1 Akaushi calf or a calf that's sired by an Akaushi bull. So if you buy one of these Akaushi bulls today, you're not going to have to pay a ton for him because not the whole world is chasing an Akaushi bull. Right now, there's plenty of guys saying, I just as soon breed Angus, or it's simple or it's easy. And that's fine. I breed Angus too. There's an Angus bull in the pen here too. He's a great bull. He'll do you a wonderful job. But if you position yourself while the market is super, super high, one, you can get these bulls bought cheap because not everyone is chasing them. But two, when the market falls back apart in 5 years, you're already positioned with a premium option where you can say, hey, we've already got F1 calves. We've already got even F1 cows, right? Or half Akaushi cows. So now when the market goes down and everyone's scrambling saying, how do I make ends meet? Or how do I make payments? Or how do I, generate all of this lost revenue because the market's falling apart? You're already positioned with a premium option. And even better, you got the bulls bought for pennies on the dollar because at market high, when commodity's high, Akaushi's low. Now Akaushi runs counter-cyclical. My projection, you go out 5 years and that commodity market's falling apart, everyone wants an Akaushi bull because they're scrambling for a way to get that premium. And the smart money is going to have bought him cheap today rather than follow and do exactly what everybody else is doing and wait 5 years till the market's falling apart and then pay a bunch of money for the bull. And then by the time you get those calves here, the market's starting to shift the other direction anyway. So I guess what I'm saying is there's a buy to be had. Don't be afraid of the fact they're cheap. It's a smart spot to put money. Get the bulls bought cheap, position yourself well for when the market goes back the other direction. So there's my spiel on Akaushi bulls at large. These are a buy. Like someone is going to get a buy on these. Akaushi bulls have been trading cheap. These are good bulls. If they are not good bulls, they are steers. There are steers in this pen. There will be steers in all of the pens that you see in future auction podcast episodes. We are steering hard on these bulls. So anything that gives us any issues whatsoever. If it's got a problem attitude, those nuts are gone. If it has problems calving, the nuts are gone. If it grows slow, nuts are gone. If it doesn't scan strong on carcass ultrasound day, nuts are gone. If I don't like the cow behind it or the sire on the top side of the pedigree, nuts are gone. So I guess the point I'm making is if they're a bull, it's because they're pretty dang good, right? And so if you're taking a look like at this lot 3 bull, this polled Akaushi bull, let's get the horns off your calves. Let's add some growth to your calves, add marbling, add docility, add longevity, add marketability, and you can get this bull bought. I'm pretty darn confident. I'd love it if you traded for what he's worth, but I'd be willing to bet this bull is worth a lot more money than what someone's going to have to pay to get him bought. Do not sleep on the opportunity to buy something this good at this figure. So lot 3, get a bid in early. I would recommend to everyone and anyone, when that email shows up in your inbox and you see that this auction's open, bid early and get that early bid price, because a lot of times people think, oh, you know, I'll wait and I'll bid later because, oh, you know, there's no reason to get the buy early or whatever because it'll just run up later. There are times that cattle trade way below what I would let them trade at private treaty in these auctions. And I want people to be rewarded for showing up and for placing those bids early and for supporting our program. There are buys to be had. You know, I'm not going to be bidding against you. There's not a computer bidding against you. It's not me bidding against you, an auction administrator bidding against you. If there's not another buyer that comes in and says, I am willing to pay more for this beautiful bull calf on the far right, looking at the far right, the 5523 here, far right is our big time growth polled purebred Akaushi bull. If someone else doesn't say they're willing to pay more, you own him. So get that early bid price. When you see that auction open, when that auction catalog opens, from the time it opens, the auction's on. The thing's open. And if you get the early price, number one, that price is never showing up again. The bids only go up from there. So if you want the best price, bid early. But number two, the way that platform works, if you get outbid, you'll get a text. And so now you don't have to worry about remembering or like, oh, what if I'm busy or oh, I forgot the auction was on that night or whatever else. Don't miss out on a guy like this. Catch that opportunity early, get that bid in early, and chase this 5523. So I'm just saying, when the auction opens, lot 3, grab an early bid because there's going to be a buy to be had. And that's a great bull. Nearest to us right now, far left in the frame, looking towards us right now, just a super unique and valuable bull. Don't miss out on a great polled purebred Akaushi. And, you know, take advantage of the fact you can get him bought for less than he's worth. Because what that bull is worth is $20,000, $30,000. And what they've been trading at is more like 6 to 10. And when the auction opens, I mean, it's like a $500 bid to get in. Bid early, bid often, get on them, get that early bid, get that early price, and the auction platform will text you if you get outbid. And then make sure you log into your calendar. May 27th, last Wednesday of the month, 6 p.m. Mountain is when the thing closes. Look, he's ready to breed already, you know, so so don't miss out on that guy. Let that be a future herd sire for you. That is a good bull. He's been good every day of his life. That's why he's still an intact male and not a steer. That is a good bull. Nearest to us, 5523, lot 3. Get an early bid on him. Lot 4 in this auction is going to be 5540. 5540. We'll watch our tags and see him when he comes around. But the 5540 bull is going to be lot 4 in this auction. If you're looking for a 100% full-blood Japanese red Wagyu or Akaushi, this is your option in this sale. This is the one full-blood 100% Japanese bull in this sale. So if that's what you're after, you want lot 4. Lot 4, big time weaning weight kind of a bull, 656 pounds at weaning. So he's coming to us right now. 5540 is coming to us right now. Second bull from the right. So if you're looking in the frame, as far as which bull are we looking at, which bull are we talking about, second bull from the right. So the bull nearest the truck with his butt towards us is lot 3, the 5523. The next bull over to the left of him is 5540, who's going to be lot 4. So the polled purebred is on the far right, and the bull turning away and starting to kind of walk away now. He's going to be on the far left of the frame. Far left of the frame is 5540. He's going to be lot 4, and he's coming out into the sunlight, giving us a nice shot there. Beautiful bull, big stretchy bull, high gaining bull. That's a cherry shot right there. Gives you a good feel for who he is, what he is. Mellow mannered, good to look at, high performance kind of a deal. 100% Japanese genetics. Showing off for us there. 5540 on the far left. Giving you a real good feel for what he is. And I love that you can see on that bull, that is a mellow bull. So this is not a case of these bulls are pinballing off the walls. This is not a case of the bull's got his head in the air and is panicked and is running around and is crashing through fences. This is an easy-mannered guy. You know, we talked about those disposition issues you can run into with Akaushi elsewhere. If there's a disposition issue here, they're not going to multiply it because they're going to be a steer. So look at the 5540. He'd be 3 bulls back, I guess, from here. The nearest bull being the pulled purebred lot 3. 2 bulls back, kind of buried right in the middle of all of them, is 5540. That bull is going to be an Umamaru son. The Umamaru bull will be one of the most valuable in the breed. Thousands of dollars a unit to get this stuff bought. Hard to find. Umamaru is a direct son of the original Kaedemaru cow. Kaedemaru, I've mentioned, great option for docility, for muscle mass, super unique pedigree, highly marketable genetics in Umamaru. Bottom side of this deal, so the bottom side of the pedigree being the maternal side of the pedigree, is the 3437 donor. So she is going to be an international daughter. So international rolls right back to the Namiko maternal line. And then below that is the 919 donor, who comes from the Ume maternal line. So 919 would be our all-time high-income producing female, $300,000 in direct progeny sales, big-time marbling on the female, straight foundation pedigree, the #1 female for BFI index, the breeder feeder index, and the Australian Wagyu Association database. So you got all the pieces here. If you look at 5540, super unique pedigree, Umamaru over an international over 919, 100% Japanese genetics. He comes with free delivery included anywhere in the continental United States. I'd be willing to bet you can get a buy on this bull. You've seen in the video, he's mellow, he's good looking, he's good mannered, big growth, 656 pound weaning weight, lot 4, 5540. Jumping to lot 5. Lot 5 is the black bull in the pen. So far left in the current frame. Look at the hip on the bull, the way he's sitting there. Look at the hip, look at the depth, look at the spring of rib, look at the power, the muscle, the mass. If you are looking for an Angus bull, so if you're deciding, hey, you know what, the market is at all-time highs, and I'm just going to go for something that gains and gains quickly and sells easily, this is one of the all-time heaviest weaning weight bulls in the history of our program. 872 pounds at weaning on the Black Angus bull. So it'd be 4 bulls away from the truck right now, sitting back there in the pen. CGX conclusion 5511N. Tons of performance in this bull. This is going to be a homozygous polled bull, so registered Angus cattle are going to have 2 copies of that polled gene, so you could breed that bull to any cow. I mean, you could breed that bull to a Texas Longhorn, and he will knock the horns off at birth. So you can just take care of that job right up front. He'll make them black. He's going to be homozygous black, so every one of those babies is going to be black, and black hides can bring a premium, especially in northern markets. So if you want to sell black calves for a premium, and then if you're looking for gain, I mean, if your model is at this point in time for your operation that what you want to sell is calves, not beef. So like, we're not talking about taking them all the way through to finish, producing beef and selling beef. We're talking about taking a bull, putting him on cows, produce calves, and what you are selling for your income is calves. If your goal is to sell calves and sell them in this wildly high market, and you want them polled, you want them black, and you want as many pounds to sell as you can possibly get, the way you're going to get that done is going to be with lot 5, CGX conclusion, 5511N. Look at the width of base on this bull. Look at the hip on this bull. Look at the muscle mass on this bull. 872 pounds at weaning coming off the cow. That is a thick, stout, high performance kind of a dude. So if you're looking for a bull to produce calves to sell at weaning, lot 5, get an early bid on him. Open him up. Take the bid at $500. You own him until somebody bids $1,000. You know, there's no reason not to. It is not going to hurt you, and that's going to give you a text update anytime that you are outbid. Make sure that you sign up at gotanycows.com, subscribe so that you get an email when that auction opens, and then take a look at lot 5. If you want power, performance, homozygous black, muscle and gainability, lot 5 is who you're after. Lot 6, jumping over to a steer. So lot 6 is going to be the 5561 steer. So naturally going to be sitting on the far back. What we're currently seeing right now, just for reference, anyone looking at the video, on the left there, the bull that is slick-hided, slick-haired, that's the 5523 bull. The polled purebred Akaushi is lot 3. Right in front of him is lot 4. The 100% full-blood red Wagyu bull is lot 4, the 5540. 5561 that I'm talking about now is farthest from the camera. He's sitting on the back side of the pen there. Lot 6, 5561N. That is going to be a virile son weaned at 536 pounds, really unique pedigree. This is a virile by 121. So when I say, hey, just a great pedigree isn't going to let you keep your nuts on here. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, virile is thousands of dollars per straw and a pain in the butt to get a hold of. The mother, the 121 donor, has done 200,000 in direct progeny sales. I mean, this is a big time pedigree, and we nutted him anyway. So this is him on the far left. He just backed out of all of the rest of the cattle there. Far left calf there. So still just a young calf, still just a light calf. And going to make put a wonderful steak on the plate. They don't all need to be bulls, guys. So any of you out there that have got Akaushi bulls, just because they're a full-blood Akaushi doesn't mean they need to be a bull. Just because they're an embryo transfer calf doesn't mean they need to be a bull. Just because they have a super valuable sire doesn't mean they need to be a bull. Just because they have a super valuable dam doesn't mean they need to be a bull. If they are not 100% all of the everything, make great beef out of them. Because, I mean, 5561 here is going to make awesome beef, right? He doesn't need to multiply himself. He doesn't need to be a bull, but that doesn't mean he's not going to make awesome beef. And the opportunity here on the 5561 steer, as well as the 5589, so there's two steers in the pen. They're both on the far back fence there. There's going to be a virile son and a Shoshone son, and with either one or both of those steers, the expense with putting steak on the plate or putting beef on the plate is in all of the feed and in all of the time it takes, right? So you're going to be at least a year between the day you buy a steer like one of these, buy a weanling steer, and the day that you harvest him and turn him into beef. So the expense is not in buying the animals. The expense is in feeding the animals and harvesting the animals. And what you don't want to do is go buy some cheap steer somewhere because he was cheap and then dump all that feed and all that time and all that effort in and get clear to the end of the deal and you got crappy steak. Like, why would you do that? Like, there's no reason to dump all that time and effort and feed and money into something that you're not sure is going to produce an excellent result. So 5561 sitting on the far left of all of the cattle we're looking at right now. Dark red individual right up against the far back fence there. 5561, virile over 121. Virile is going to bring the Namiko line right to the front of the pedigree. Very, very, very proven for marbling. Talking to some folks down into Australia and New Zealand that have put a ton of carcasses on the rail. So have killed a lot of cattle and taken a look at the quality of those carcasses. We know that Namiko maternal line is going to put a quality steak on the plate. In addition to that, the 121 cow, which is the mother of this steer here, lot 6, the virile 5561 steer, we know that cow scans beyond Prime Plus on actual carcass ultrasound. So you know that when you invest all that time and effort and feed and money and whatever else, you know you're going to get a great steak. Do not waste all your time and effort and feed and money on a crappy cheap steer. Like, buying the steer is the cheap part, right? I mean, these steers, I mean, very realistically, you can get these bought in that $3,000 to $4,000 window. That's where they've been trading in these auctions realistically. So, I mean, there's a buy to be had there. Take that animal, put the feed in, put the effort in, put the time, and put an awesome steak on the plate. Don't waste all of the effort on something lesser, right? Lot 7 is going to be a Shoshone son. Over 239F, who is a master chef and Rushaw granddaughter, weighed 596 pounds at weaning, so plenty of gainability in both of these steers. The steers are on the far, let's see, you're going to be one steer on the far left of the frame and one steer on the far right of the frame. Far left of the frame is going to be lot 6, 5561. Far right of the frame is lot 7, 5589. So lot 7, 5589 on the far right, one of the first Shoshone sons. Shoshone was the highest marbling bull of his entire calf crop on actual carcass ultrasound. Siemens 3200 a straw. We still nutted that calf. So like I said, don't be afraid to nut, to go ahead and castrate. You know, if everything's not 100% exactly where you want it, the only ding we had on him was birth weight, right? Heavier birth weight kind of a bull, still born unassisted, but that individual had plenty of gainability, plenty of performance. He's going to put an awesome steak on the plate. Don't shy away from getting one like that that's going to put a great steak on the plate instead of something lesser. So really, really well bred steer, 100% full-blood Akaushi Wagyu, 100% Japanese genetics. So don't go with something cheap and junky and maybe halfway crossbred where you don't know if it's going to end up like the sire or like the dam or what it is or isn't going to do. Don't gamble on those inconsistencies. Go with 100% Japanese genetics. Lot 6 is the far left animal. Lot 7 is the far right animal. Both steers, both come with free delivery anywhere in the continental United States included. Both are going to be, you're looking at 536 pounds on the left, 596 pounds on the right. Get an early bid in on those individuals and get yourself some awesome feeders. And without further ado, we'll jump up to the next pen. All right, so last pen of cattle I'm going to show you for tonight. We've got 2 cows that we're going to be offering IVF aspirations on as lot 9 and lot 10. So lot 9 is going to be the Angus cow on the right, the black cow on the right. Lot 10 is going to be the Charolais cow, the white cow on the left. So starting with the Angus cow, which would be the cow on the right, the black cow, that is going to be the Rita 9044 donor. That cow is going to be in the top 1% of the Angus breed for growth and the top 15% for calving ease. So what makes that female unique is we're saying, hey, we can get all the performance in the world, but we're not going to get huge birth weights to go with it, right? This is a female that they're going to gain like the Dickens, but they're going to be born easy. So if you're looking for something in the Angus breed that's going to give you top shelf performance and the calving ease to go with it, 9044 is geared to do that for you. Lot 9 is an IVF aspiration on her. So the winning bidder just pays one flat price for the aspiration. You pay $200 per embryo produced to cover lab costs, and then you provide whatever semen or purchase semen from us, whatever semen you'd like to put across those embryos. We will guarantee at least 3 embryos. If you make sexed embryos, or you can use gender-controlled semen, either male or female, or we will guarantee at least 5 embryos if you use conventional semen on that IVF aspiration. So 1 IVF aspiration on the Rita 9044 donor, lot 9, easy calving, fast gaining. So if your whole game, your whole target, your whole plan is I want them here unassisted, and I want as many pounds of black-polled calves as I can get at weaning, that's how you're going to get her done with lot 9, the 9044 IVF aspiration. Jump into lot 10, the big white cow that is off to the left there. So looking at her, that big white, big cow, that's a Charolais cow. So Charolais is a French breed of cattle. So the French cow there on the left, the big white cow, big time performance cattle. So if you're looking to add a ton of gainability or the ability to gain more pounds faster, there is not a breed on the planet better than Charolais. I mean, look at that cow. Like, that is a big cow. Big, high gaining, high performing kind of cattle. They will put pounds on fast. And so if you were looking to sell calves and you're just looking to sell pounds at weaning, right? So again, we talked about the difference between, selling calves at weaning or selling pounds of calf versus selling finished beef. If you're selling finished beef, then Akaushi is going to be your best fit. If you're wanting to sell black calves, right, because of the premium for some of those black hides or certified Angus beef or things like that, you'd want to go with the black cow. But if you're just looking for max performance, max gainability, as many pounds to sell as you can possibly get as quickly as possible, and or introduce some hybrid vigor or heterosis from crossbreeding, right? So if you've got commercial black cows that don't have Charolais in them, and then you cross them to this French breed, right, to Charolais, you'll actually get a 2 + 2 = 5 scenario there, right, where the calf will outperform the average of the parents, and that difference is referred to as hybrid vigor or heterosis. Just because she's showing off in the frame right now, you can see that black cow, nice uddered female, nice long female, deep female, sharp fronted female. That's the 9044 donor. The IVF aspiration on her sells as lot 9. Lot 10 is the IVF aspiration on the Charolais cow. This cow is going to be a daughter of LT Katie 8042. So her mother weaned 8 calves at a 108 weaning weight ratio in the Linscove Field herd in South Dakota. So what that means, it'd be 100 is average, 108 means 8% above average, right? So her mother weaned calves that were 8% heavier than the average calf in the set for 8 consecutive years, right? So very productive female, very high performing female, a lot of gainability in that animal, even within an elite Charolais herd. And then Charolais as a breed outperforms other breeds, and then when used in a crossbreeding scenario, produces more performance still. So if you're after gainability, look at lot 10, that IVF aspiration on KD1022. This cow is also a full sister to the dam of the $160,000 LT Authority. So her mother did fantastic up against really elite level competition for growth. Her full sister produced a 6-figure bull. This cow herself, big, beautiful, thick, framey, stout kind of a cow. IVF aspiration on her sells as lot 10. And with that, I'm going to let Aaron and Billy know that we have got our video on the cattle for the day. I'll let them get the cattle put away, and I'll talk about a couple of animals we did not video today, and then wrap up some housekeeping items, and we'll go from there. All right, so we're gonna let Aaron and Billy grab these cattle and put them away before we lose all light for the end of the day. But appreciate you being here with us, and I hope I've been able to provide something of value as far as education on what these cattle are and why it matters, and why not all cattle are created equal, and why it's worth investing in quality genetics and not running all your time and effort and feeding money through junk. You know, the buying the cows is the cheap part. Investing in quality pays. It doesn't cost, it pays. You know, it takes the same time and effort and feeding money, whether you're going to feed junk or feed really good ones. The only difference is if you feed really good ones, you're going to get really good results, good sale prices, good rates of gain, good eating experiences, etc. If you buy cheap junk, you're going to put in all the same inputs, and then you're going to junk in, junk out. So it's worth investing in genetics. Appreciate you listening to everything this far. A couple of lots I want to highlight real quick that are not going to be on video today. And then we'll just do some housekeeping items and wrap up there. But lot 11 is going to be a lease on the Spectrum 3393L bull. So a lease gives you an option to get a really, really, really high-end bull. I mean, this is a bull we are actively breeding to here. This is a bull we are actively collecting semen on. That's the reason the bull isn't here. The bull is actively at Hoffman AI, go and collecting semen there that we will be using within our embryo transfer program, within our AI program. This is one of our absolute best. I mean, to put it this way, I mean, within all of the bull calves that are born here, big old chunk make steers and just go make good beef. Big chunk make good bulls, you know, and good solid bulls to use in a live cover setting. Only the very, very, very best are the bulls we're collecting semen on to use for AI, artificial insemination, or in embryo transfer settings to multiply those genetics further. So looking at 3393L, the Spectrum bull, a lease on him is going to give you 2 years of natural cover service, live cover service on that bull. So the semen rights do not sell with the lease. So the semen rights remain the ownership of Christensen Genetics. So we will continue to market the semen on that bull, but you'll have the option to use an AI stud sire bull in a live cover setting. So instead of having to synchronize your cows or bring in a technician for your cows or AI your cows or do all of that extra work to be able to AI a cow, now you get all the quality with none of the work by using a stud in a live cover setting. So the 3393 bull, the winning bidder on lot 11, will get 2 years of live cover use on the Spectrum 3393L bull. Free delivery and free pickup are included in that bid price. So you're getting 2 years of live cover use, the bull's delivered to you, the bull's taken away from you. And then the beauty of a 2-year lease is instead of going, and number one, a bull this good, frankly, just isn't for sale. Number two, you're getting AI quality calves without AIing. Number three, you don't have to pick him up or get rid of him when you're done with him. But number four, when you look at the average herd that's only got 25 cows, which is about what a bull can cover. Now, I mean, that can be a little higher for an older bull, a little lower for a younger, but 25 is a good rule of thumb as far as number of cows a bull can take care of. If you've only got 25 cows, after 2 years, even if you went and bought a bull, 2 years later, if you retain his daughters, and then another year later, it's time for them to be bred, now you can't use the bull anyway, because the bull would be breeding his daughters. And so rather than worry about that, if you've purchased a bull, now you got to resell a bull or figure out how to try to get some money back out of a bull. Rather than worry about any of that, you can just say, hey, I can lease this bull for 2 years, and 2 years down the road, he just leaves, and I didn't have to pay all the money to buy him. I don't have to figure out how to sell him. I don't have to figure out how to ship him. I don't have to figure out how to AI. I just get wicked good calves at a super good price. The bull shows up, the bull leaves. It is as cost-effective and simple and easy a way to introduce high-quality genetics as I know how to offer. So that's what you're going to see in lot 11. If you win that bid, you'll get to use that bull for 2 full years. CGX Spectrum 3393L. He is sired by the $500,000 JC Rushaw 75, whose semen is not available on the open market. JC Rushaw 75 also beat all comers at a national show on 2 consecutive years at Houston for marbling against both red and black Wagyu entries. So high quality beef, very marketable, very rare. His mother, the mother of the Spectrum bull, who we're selling the 2-year lease on in lot 11, is the 919 cow, 300,000 in direct progeny sales. Very high marbling cow, straight foundation pedigree, #1 in the Australian Wagyu database for BFI for a red Wagyu cow in the United States. And then Spectrum himself got it done on actual weights. The bull was a 68-pound birth weight, so very easy calving, very light birth weight. You do not have to worry about if you breed heifers to this bull, they're going to be born unassisted, right? So easy calving, weaned strong, 654 pounds at weaning, so plenty of gain. The bull is easy to be around. He's been a fertile bull. Calving ease is there, growth is there, marbling there, his longevity is there. The bull is named Spectrum because he covers the whole spectrum of traits for us, everything that we try to select for. So a 2-year lease sells on him as lot 11 in this auction. And then one last lot I want to highlight is going to be lot 12. Lot 12 is semen from the heavy duty bull. We just sold the first straw of semen in our last auction on heavy duty. Brought $1,050 for a straw. But honestly, I still feel like this bull is undervalued for what he is. This is frankly the best bull we have bred to date. The best bull I have ever sold semen on is heavy duty. And I say that having sold semen on a lot of really good bulls, right? We have bred some really good bulls. We have sold semen on some really good bulls. Been fortunate to work with a whole series of great individuals. And I'm not trying to devalue any of them, but I am saying heavy duty is the best yet, and did not fetch the very highest auction price as far as the value for a straw. I think this bull is maybe being overlooked a little, undervalued a little bit for what he is. The heavy duty bull, Grand Dam on the top side, $200,000 producing 121 donor. Grand Sire on the top side, $200,000 valued Dos Equis bull. The dam on the bottom side, $100,000 producer, the 577 donor. So you've got a ton of value built into this pedigree before this bull was ever born. But then the bull was born unassisted, went on to set our all-time weaning weight record for a purebred Akaushi bull, or I should say our highest growth Akaushi stud to date at 738 pounds at weaning, 738 pound weaning weight. He is homozygous polled, so he's going to take the horns off every calf he ever sires. His dam and grand dam are both beautiful and Scam Prime Plus. I mean, all the pieces are there. The docility is there. The growth is there. Record-setting growth. Super easy mannered. I mean, the picture of this bull of heavy duty was taken when he was 11 months old, and he'd never had any corn, any concentrate, any help of any kind. Still took an incredible picture. Super mannered, super good-looking bull. Thick, heavy muscled, high gaining, an incredible amount of carcass quality there, an incredible amount of marketability built into that pedigree. This is a good bull. If you've not touched polled purebred genetics because you've wanted to focus on full blood genetics, that is totally fine. I completely respect that, not a problem. But if you are ever going to purchase semen on a bull to add the polled purebred genetics to your herd, I would absolutely recommend getting heavy duty and putting him over your best full blood donors, because there is absolutely a space available in this market to say, hey, the full blood genetics, it's already a fairly narrow gene pool, right? Polled purebred genetics, it's a narrower gene pool still, and there's absolutely an opportunity to go ahead and produce new and different and distinct polled purebred genetics. So take a bull like heavy duty, put them across your very best full bloods, and you can absolutely capitalize on. There's just not a ton of polled purebreds out there. And not only will you be making polled purebreds, you'll be making exceptional quality polled purebreds with a bull like heavy duty across your best full bloods. He's homozygous polled, so he's going to produce polled purebred calves every time without fail. You are not going to have to deal with horns. You are not going to have summer horned or summer polled. You are not going to run into these scenarios. where you don't have the horns off. He genetically removes the horns every time. He adds a ton of quality. I just wouldn't hesitate for a moment to go ahead and use heavy duty. So without further ado, I would say, just make sure you've got on your calendar. May 27th, 6 p.m. Mountain Time is going to be when this auction closes. Make sure you've got that on the calendar. Plan to go ahead and be there with us. I'd also invite you, go ahead and take a look at this podcast on Apple Podcasts. If you'll update your phone there, there's now video on Apple Podcasts, so you can watch the video of this podcast right there on Apple Podcasts, in addition to on YouTube, in addition to on GotAnyCows.com. So a lot of different opportunities, a lot of different ways to take a look at this video. And just invite you to subscribe at GotAnyCows.com. Be there May 27th at 6 p.m. when the auction closes, and refresh at closing. And one other quick thing I would mention, the polled purebred thing, there's opportunity there. Our high seller in our last auction was a polled purebred female, full sister to heavy duty. So if you're looking for an opportunity to maybe grab a unique space in the market, take a look at some of these high value polled purebred genetics. Make some of your own by putting heavy duty over your best full bloods. But if you're looking at how to engage with us in this auction, make sure at auction close that you're consistently refreshing your browser. It may look like the clock has gone to zero, but unless you see the little banner come across the corner that says closed, then the auction's not closed. The auction's still open until that banner shows up and it says closed at the very end of the auction. So make sure you refresh consistently. The auction shot clock will reset to 5 minutes every time a bid is placed on any lot in this auction. So this is a horse race style finish, and so that means that anytime any lot in the auction receives a bid anywhere in the last 5 minutes, the whole auction extends by 5 minutes. So you'll see that clock reset to 5 minutes over and over again. And then don't bank on it just going to zero and thinking, oh, it's over, the auction's closed, the auction's done. Consistently refresh. Wait until you see that banner say closed, or you won, or you lost across the corner of the lots to say the auction's over. And be there May 27th, 6 p.m. Mountain for this auction. I appreciate you being here on the Got Any Cows podcast.